Back in the day, these stores were so much more than places to buy things. They were woven into the rhythm of American life. Family trips to the mall, wandering through the aisles like they were endless worlds of possibility. And that warm, almost magical vibe you can still feel if you close your eyes. But as the years passed, many of those beloved names slowly disappeared, leaving behind nothing but memories and a bittersweet sense of how much has changed. Today, we're taking a heartfelt look back at 6 of America's favorite stores that vanished or transformed forever. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It truly helps keep these nostalgic stories alive. Now, let's get started. If you ever wandered through the aisles of a record store just to see what you might discover, then you probably remember this one. Tower Records wasn't just a store, it was an experience. At its peak, it spanned 200 stores across 15 countries. But for so many Americans, it felt like a second home. The first Tower Records opened back in 1960 in Sacramento, California. And from there, it grew into a cultural landmark. Stepping inside felt like entering a world of endless sound. The bright yellow signs, the walls lined with album covers, and that unmistakable feeling of flipping through CDs and vinyls, hoping to find your next favorite song. But time has a way of changing even the things we love. As digital downloads and streaming took over, Tower Records struggled to keep up. Sales dropped, foot traffic faded, and in 2006, the company declared bankruptcy. Its assets were sold for what would now be about $213 million, marking the end of an era for music lovers everywhere. And yet, it never fully disappeared. In 2020, Tower Records quietly returned. Not in the aisles we once walked, but online, where fans can still browse and buy music today. For many, Tower Records lives on not just as a website, but as a memory. A reminder of a time when discovering music meant picking up a record, putting on headphones, and getting lost in the sound. Circuit City began in 1949, founded by Samuel Wurtzel, the man credited with creating the world's first true electronics superstores. For decades, it was the place where Americans first experienced new technology. Glowing rows of TVs, shelves of stereos, and that exciting feeling of seeing what was possible next. By the 1970s, Circuit City was booming nationwide. But as time passed, the world around it shifted. In the 1990s, the chain started to lose ground. Many stores sat in outdated or inconvenient locations, while Best Buy, Walmart, and later online retailers began pulling customers away. By the mid-2000s, the pressure was overwhelming. In 2008, Circuit City announced the closure of 155 stores and major layoffs in a last attempt to survive. But even that wasn't enough. The company soon fell into Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and by 2009, every remaining U.S. store had closed for good. Today, Circuit City lives on in memory, a reminder of the excitement of walking into a store filled with gadgets, possibilities, and the promise of tomorrow. If you grew up in a certain time, you remember the ritual. Walking into your neighborhood Blockbuster on a Friday night, the shelves glowing blue and yellow, picking out a movie or a video game, grabbing popcorn, candy, and maybe a last-minute snack for the weekend. It wasn't just renting a movie, it was an experience. The very first Blockbuster opened in 1985 in Dallas, Texas, and it didn't take long before it became a national icon. By the 1990s, Blockbuster was the place America went for movie nights, family time, and that exciting moment of hoping your favorite title was still on the shelf. But by the late 2000s, everything changed. Netflix's mail-order DVDs, on-demand streaming, And even those little rental kiosks slowly drained away Blockbuster's customers. In 2010, the company filed for bankruptcy, unable to compete with the digital wave. Dish Network eventually bought the struggling brand and closed nearly every store, except for one, the famous last Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon. Today, Blockbuster lives on in memory, a reminder of a simpler time when movie nights started with a drive, a walk through the aisles, and the excitement of bringing home that blue plastic case. If you ever wandered through a bookstore just to breathe in the quiet, comforting smell of paper, you probably remember Borders. It was once a familiar sight in downtown shopping areas across America. Founded by brothers Lewis and Tom Borders back in 1971, the store quickly grew from a small Michigan shop into a nationwide haven for readers. By the 1990s, under Kmart's ownership, Borders had exploded in size. Aisles filled with books, soft music playing overhead, and that magical feeling of discovering a new favorite author on a lazy weekend afternoon. But as the 2000s arrived, the world started shifting faster than Borders could keep up. The company doubled down on music just as CD sales were collapsing. Its online store fell behind, and digital formats, ebooks, MP3s, quietly reshaped the way people consumed stories and songs. Little by little, the once busy stores grew quiet. Almost too quiet. Borders turned its last profit in 2006. And by February 2011, after years of struggle, the company filed for bankruptcy. When the doors finally closed later that year, it felt like saying goodbye to an old friend, one you always thought would be around. There are some names that feel stitched into the fabric of American life, and the Bon Ton was one of them. For more than 125 years, this beloved department store stood as a quiet constant across countless towns and cities. Generations walked through its doors, mothers shopping for holidays, kids tugging on winter coats in the fitting rooms, families wandering the aisles during those slow Sunday afternoons. The Bon Ton had a way of making even a simple shopping trip feel warm and familiar, like part of a tradition you didn't realize you were building. But as the world changed, shopping changed with it. The rise of e-commerce, especially giants like Amazon, reshaped how Americans spent their money. And even with a century of loyalty behind it, the Bon Ton found it harder and harder to keep up. By early 2018, after years of fighting a losing battle, the company filed for bankruptcy. A few months later, in April, its final 256 stores across the country closed their doors for good. Some places didn't just sell things, they shaped our childhoods, and for millions of Americans, that place was Toys R Us. For nearly 7 decades, Toys R Us was a world of imagination, beginning in 1948 when Charles Lazarus opened his first shop in Washington, D.C. As America's baby boom grew, the store became the country's most beloved toy destination. Bikes, action figures, dolls, video games. For so many kids, stepping inside felt like entering pure magic. But the world was changing. Toys R Us partnered with Amazon in 2000, hoping to ride the wave of e-commerce. When Amazon broke the exclusivity deal, the lawsuit was won, but the momentum was lost. Soon after came overwhelming debt and years of mismanagement. By 2017, the company filed for bankruptcy. A small revival in 2019 brought 2 new stores. But the pandemic ended even that last bit of hope. For countless Americans, losing Toys R Us felt like saying goodbye to a piece of childhood. Today, it survives only in memories, bright, joyful, and impossible to replace. And as we look back at stores like the Bon Ton, we're reminded that these places were more than just buildings. They were memories, tiny snapshots of our lives. The smell of new clothes, the soft glow of holiday lights, the feeling of walking through the aisles with someone we loved. Even though the doors have closed, the moments we shared inside them never will. If this video brought back even a small piece of your past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your own memories in the comments. Because together, we can keep these stories alive.